Hey, it's Fumi, and today I'll be reviewing Transformers Earthspark Deluxe Class Soundwave. This version of Soundwave appeared in Earthspark as the head honcho of his little team alongside his cassette bots. The design was praised for its new and fresh look for the character, with his sharper points and angles, but sadly, less auto-tune. This version was well loved in the community, and when Earthspark finally had a toy line, the only figure we got of him was a one-step changer. A one-step changer? Really? No, yeah, really. This was the only figure of this design out there so far, and since its release, people were clamoring for a deluxe version of this character in the main line. But now, in 2025, we finally have a proper version of him. Is he as good as people say? I guess we'll just have to see. Let's start with the Bomber alt mode. This alt mode is quite the bluish purple tortilla chip, being purely cast in a purple aubergine color. And it's actually pretty nice on this figure, looking like a boomerang, being sharp and angular, which is a fitting alt mode for Soundwave. As for weapon storage, his shoulder cannon connects to the top via a 5mm port, and while not the most smoothly integrated weapon storage, it's not the worst. It kinda looks like a defense mechanism of sorts for the vehicle mode. All in all, the vehicle mode is pretty well organized with barely any visible kibble at the top of the alt mode. On the bottom, however, it's actually not bad due to the color of the entire underside mixing with the colors of the chest and the arms. The thighs are just kinda hanging out there, but it's not too bad. While there are downsides to this mode, its size makes up for the faults it presents. Scaling with SS-86 Bumblebee, Legacy Elita 1, Legacy Cybertron Starscream, and Legacy Armada Optimus Prime. As for Soundwave's wingspan, it's honestly pretty good for a deluxe class figure. It's a lot bigger than I would imagine, and I think it's a pretty good thing for the price that you're getting this figure at. So regarding the vehicle mode, it's pretty well sculpted and all around nicely done. Sure, the hollow thighs in the back and the bottom kibble aren't the prettiest, but we take it in strides at this point, even if some fans still love to complain about everything. Okay, getting into this transformation, it's quite intuitive for deluxe class figure, with a fun-like transformation as well as a clean conversion to robot mode. The figure does take from older figures like Line Vibe or TLK Megatron, with the wings folding out into the figure's legs. The figure also doesn't have any major points of looseness, as well as having no clearance issues while transforming the figure, and it's a pretty easy conversion, using the waist swivel and the mushroom pegs on the knees to complete the transformation. If I had anything to complain about, it would be the not very stable connection between the tabs on the arm and the sides of the body, but all in all, it's a decent transformation for a pretty good figure. And here we are with Soundwave in his robot mode. It's quite the design with its sleeker angles and jagged points. It's a design that really does echo the character's personality, being calculated and sharp. The color choices made are slightly different to his on-screen model, like his silver cheek armor, but it adds a pop to the face, which would have been lost in the deep blue of the plastic. The proportions of the robot mode is quite accurate to the TV show, maybe a bit more chunky and wide, but it makes sense for the transformation, and his head sculpt is the best part of the figure. It is literally spot on. Accessories include only a shoulder cannon, which, while not surprising, it's a little disappointing not to get at least one of his cassette bots like Ravage or Laserbeak. It's a nitpick, but it would have been fun to see at least one of them in a physical form in the Earthspark designs. But if you have the Bloki Soundwave, you can use both Ravage and Laserbeak from him. Also, the connection from his shoulder cannon to the back of the robot mode is pretty weak, but again, I don't think it's that big of an issue. In my copy, it's not that weak, but a lot of people have complained about it. As for his posing game, it's honestly the best out of all the Earthspark Deluxes, with more functional ball joints than Grimlock, a wasteful unlike Megatron, and he actually got an original Deluxe figure. Pearl, Shockwave, Starscream. Sorry. I'm surprised he even got a Deluxe release at all, unlike Alita, RC, and Tarantulas, who, by the way, should have been given actual figures to make the newer line of Earthspark figures feel more justified, rather than it be re-releases of a few of the original figures from the first wave. But I'm still glad we even got this figure in the first place, and didn't just have his dodgy one-step change forever. All in all, he's a pretty good poser, hitting poses with smooth motion and with a good amount of range. A lot of his posability is thanks to ball joints and mushroom pegs, giving him many advantages to posing in more ways than his wave mates in the Earthspark line. He's a good figure to mess with and just have on your desk as a little desk toy. With his scale, he is Deluxe class, so he's much smaller than usual mainline figures like Legacy, Age of the Primes, and even Studio Series. Here he is with SS-86 Bumblebee, Legacy Alita 1, Legacy Cybertron Starscream, and Legacy Evolution Armada Optimus Prime. So, in conclusion, Earthspark Soundwave is a great figure, and a must-have for those who enjoy the design and the character. While he's not perfect all around, with some issues with the shoulder cannon's connection and his hollow gaps in his thighs, he's still a pretty good figure and an unsectioned triumph in a line full of duds and reuses. I'd say, if you can find him in the wild, go grab him. He's an instant steal. But this has been Fumi. Tune in for next time. Follow me on my socials, and I'll see you next time.